Sean, what's it been like this week just to kind of get back to some normalcy?
Yeah, doesn't feel normal because nothing's really been normal, but it's been good. It's been good to get to have a normal kind of week of preparation and not have to go different places. So that's been a positive.
When you say nothing's normal, is it just the virtual meetings and whatnot?
Yeah, just everything that that our guys have done a great job of handling. So I don't even know what normal is. Normal, I'm like, hey, what is the normal schedule that we're accustomed to operating with? So, but it's been good. It's been good. Good.
What would it mean to you personally for this team to win a third division title with you as coach?
It mean a lot to be able to share it and to be able to, kind of check off one of the things that you try to achieve as a team, with guys you really care about. And so this has been a special team. Anytime that you're able to accomplish something, and what you guys have heard me talk about is the greatest team sport there is, that really means a lot. But it's about being able to do it with the people that you care a lot about, and coaches, players, organizations. So it would be a good accomplishment because it's such a tough division as well.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Hey, Sean, you had to incorporate changes into the offense because of injuries, Odell Beckham's acquisition. How much of a challenge is it to now be bringing back your preseason number one running back at this stage in the season?
Yeah, a little bit different. It's a positive. So it's a good challenge. I don't necessarily know if it's a challenge, because Cam's kind of been here. He understands kind of the way we want to operate. Whereas, some of those other changes involved guys learning that had no familiarity with anything that we do, or we're moving to new spots. And so it's great to be able to get Cam back. I think it's such a testament to his work ethic and the way that he attacked his rehab to even be in a position to do what he's doing I think it's got to be unprecedented for pro football. And so it's pretty special, and excited for Cam.
Is the offense where you would want it to be? And I was going to say in week 18, but in the final week of a season.
I don't know that you'll ever hear me say any part of our team is where we want it to be. I think you always want to continue to improve. I think the guys have done a good job this week of having a nice week of preparation. It's going to be a great challenge, but those are things that, you're always trying to fine tune and then be able to kind of just improve on a week to week basis, or learn from the things that you didn't do as well.
Then if I could just sneak in one more, are the 49ers the Rams' top rival to current players and coaches the way they have been historically? I mean, would it mean something to not only win your own division title, but keep them out of the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, every team that we play, I mean, it's I think we've got a lot of respect for these guys. I don't know if you say who's your top rival, but these guys have done a great job. The last handful of times we played them, and so we got to play great, and we're going to do everything we can to try to get that win.
Thanks, Sean.
Mark.
Sean, the way that you had to kind of put things back together after Robert Woods got hurt. Can you kind of in a nutshell explain how that process evolved and what things, from week to week, what did you discover about the offense that could kind of get you back to that level?
Yeah, I think it's been a challenge. You don't ever replace a player like Robert. He's been so instrumental in everything that we've done, since I was fortunate enough to get here in 2017. And so you miss him a lot. You acquire a player like Odell. It's been incredible how quickly he's gotten up to speed. You move Van Jefferson, where he in essence is kind of playing Robert's old spot. But it's been an evolving thing. And I think kind of figuring out the identity that we want to operate with on a weekly basis has been fluid, to say the least. But I think, Sony's done an excellent job really coming in and kind of, helping us establish the run game over these last 5 wins that we've had. And it's an ever evolving process, but it's been a good challenge, but it's been a rewarding one to be able to do it with these players.
If there's one thing you have not been able to replace,
Mark, we lost you, man.
The things Robert did, what would that be?
Sorry,
Okay.
Mark, you kind of cut out for a second. What was it? Could you ask your
can you
question
hear-
again?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
I can, yes.
Okay. There was one thing that Robert that you weren't able to replace that Robert did. What would it be?
Well, I think you really try to figure out, I think just all the things he did, there's not, I think it would be minimizing all the contributions Robert made if you said there's one thing, but Robert did so many things similar to Cooper, with the ball, without the ball, the way that he was able, I think Robert's toughness, Robert brought such a toughness and a competitiveness to our offense. That's really hard to replace. I think you've seen some other kind of personalities that have played for us that have those similar, great traits and characteristics that Robert has, but he's a special competitor, and I sure miss Robert.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Jordan,
Hey, Sean, I'm not, I don't remember if it was you or maybe it was Kevin O'Connell. Someone mentioned that run game meetings usually happen on Fridays. If that's the case for you guys, is there a better sense of not just where Cam's at in terms of a potential workload, but also sort of balancing that sports science with it on what he can and maybe would be able to sustain?
Yeah, I mean, if he's going, he's going to go. I think we'll have to get a feel. It's really kind of, we do a meeting with our players presenting it. But the run game, we work throughout the course of the weekly preparation. But it's kind of just saying, hey, here's how we want to be able to run it. Here are the things that we think are going to be important for us to be successful running the football. Different personnels, different concepts, things like that. That's kind of what probably Kevin was alluding to on the Friday run meeting. But with Cam, I think it's going to be something, we'll see how he feels. If you said a snap count, I think it's hard to say that, but I think like anything else, he's got a great look in his eye. He's had a great week of preparation. He looks good and ready to go, but simulating actual real live football is something that you can't do until you actually play it. And so that's where we'll kind of be ready to adapt or adjust accordingly.
And are you expecting anyone to be questionable for this weekend?
I'm not. Everybody should be good.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Gary,
Hey, Sean, as competitive as you are and seem to have been growing up, I can't imagine you've lost to anyone at anything 5 times in a row. But that being the case, is there a mental block or a mental thing that you and your team have to get over, you think, to kind of end this streak against the 49ers?
No, I think we got to play better and coach better in that window of time that we're allotted. There's a lot of different narratives. They've done a great job. Ultimately, I'm not going to make any excuses, but to say a mental block, no, there's tremendous respect. But as a competitor, we got to go give it our best shot, play to the best of our ability in that 3-hour window. And usually the things that are consistently in alignment with winning and losing football games will reveal itself in that window of time. And hopefully we'll come out on top by checking the boxes on those things.
And you have talked in the past, lots of coaches do, and players, about wanting to play your best down the stretch as you get rolling into the playoffs. Do you feel like your team is doing that you guys are playing as well as you have all year?
I think in certain moments we are. What I've really liked about this group, Gary, that I think is really important when you think about just the way that the playoffs are structurally set up, we're finding different ways to win games. You obviously want to play cleaner. There's always going to be things that I could, go over in terms of improvement in each of our phases. But I think it's about finding ways to play complementary football, pick each other up when you need to, and ultimately, find a way to win. And I think I've really appreciated there's been different ways that we've kind of learned how to win as a team. It hasn't been perfect by any stretch, but I think sometimes those are even the more rewarding ones when you have to have a drive and you get the ball with 4.5 minutes left after the defense makes an incredible tight red area stop. Different than some of those where you're resting your guys towards the latter parts of the game because you've accumulated a big lead. Those ones are a little less stressful for me, but finding different ways to win and be able to do it in different ways, I think is a good sign for our team as we try to go into the playoffs.
Thank you.
all right, very quickly, guys, we get Stu and Josina Anderson.
Sean, did Nick Scott end up getting his broken thumb casted this week like you expected?
He did. Yeah, he'll be in good shape. He's practiced really well. Haven't seen that really limit him. And so he's ready to go.
And then I know you don't expect anybody to be questionable this weekend. Is there anybody from a participation standpoint that might have a different involvement today compared to the last 2 days?
Everybody should be full. So who we've had some of those veteran rest days, everybody will be full participation today.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Stu.
Josina,
What's up, Sean? How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Long time. Listen, obviously the 49ers have only lost twice since you last played them to the Titans and the Seahawks. I know you tried to obviously execute your own game plan, but I'm just curious, in that film review, what did you specifically see the Seahawks do and or the Titans do in their games against the 49ers that you felt like was effective that could also be useful for you?
Yeah, I thought, when you look at the Titans game, I thought they did a great job kind of weathering the storm because the Niners came out, they were rolling, playing really well. I thought they had some great third down conversions offensively, and then were able to kind of sustain possession. And then their defense, Tennessee's defense came up with some key and critical stops, and they got some turnovers. Janoris Jenkins gets an interception in the tight red area. They got a later one on an in-breaking route that kind of sailed on Jimmy a little bit. And then Seattle, I thought they won as a team. They overcame some turnovers, because they had a bunch of turnovers that they were able to overcome. They got some big plays from their special teams. So it was a little bit different narrative. But I think for us to be able to take care of business, Josina, we got to play well in all three phases and be at our best.
Thank you, Sean.
You're welcome.